Good morning, everyone. So I thought I would do a little bit of a flashback here since it is the beginning of the new year. A lot of us who are business owners or businesses in general, we're starting to prepare up our annual 1099s and W-2s and so on and so forth. And in this day and age, it's just really so simple to do it. You just click a button and it prints. And if you have an accountant, they automatically electronically file it to the IRS. But let's go back 50, 60, 70 years ago, in the days before computers, or well, before computers were commonplace. Manually typing W-2s or handwriting them. Manually typing up 1099s with a typewriter. I know kids today probably don't know what a typewriter is. But those of us who are a little bit older, maybe we can explain it to our kids and grandkids what a typewriter is. So as much as we complain about computers and as much as they break down and do stuff that are just, they do make our life convenient, especially for businesses. I couldn't imagine doing my end of year stuff by hand. I mean, I could. I only have like two 1099s I have to fill out every year. All the rest of them, I don't have to because, the person receiving it is a corporation, or it was below the threshold that required reporting. But, two. Okay, so doing two by hand on a typewriter, not really a big deal. But could you imagine having to do 50, 60, 100? Or someone like Whirlpool, where they would have to do literally thousands of them in the month of January, to get them out to their employees and to their vendors and file them with the IRS manually, snail mail. Could you? I can't even phantom those days. It boggles me that at one time before computers, we did everything by hand. Just wow. And we somehow managed to do it. And I do this as kind of a throwback because I've got a couple of clients who still do a lot of things manually. Now they still computer generate their W-2s and 1099s and so on and so forth, and their quarterly reports that they're supposed to do with the IRS. That's why they pay accountants to do that stuff. But imagine how much manpower went into January, creating W-2s for clients or for employees and 1099s for vendors and getting them mailed off and meeting deadlines. And I can't imagine that, and like I said, I've got one or two clients who still manually keep books because they don't trust the computers. It's funny, they'll keep it on the computer, but they'll keep a manual set too. And their logic behind that, although not wrong, what if the computer breaks? At least I know what I've gotten. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. But if you're using a cloud-based system, kind of like reverses that. But, cloud-based only works if there is internet. If we had a disaster in the area and cell phones and internet was wiped out, you're right. You wouldn't know how much you had or what your current value was and so on and so forth. But so, yeah, I have a couple of clients who manually keep their books. Which was kind of a surprise as I've come across these people, but nothing wrong with it. If you can do it, by all means. And I think that we all should remember how to do stuff manually because you never know when that day is going to come. About 6 years ago when I had my surgery, you've probably heard me tell that. Some of you have heard this story before. I think it was about 6 years ago. I had my surgery. Came home, went back 2 days later because it all went bad. And I ended up being in the hospital for a total of 87 days. Almost all of that was in ICU. During that time, the Bellevue Hospital was doing a transition with their computer system. I can't remember, but the computer system was going to be down for 12 hours. Or it was only scheduled to be down for 6 and it ended up being 12. Can't remember the full details, again, 6 years ago. A lot of the new nurses have never manually charted. And some of the older nurses who've been around for a while who remember manual charting, it was no problem to these, but the younger nurses, I was told, were having a hard time. What do we need to record? What do we need to do? And so on and so forth. So they relied heavily on the nurses who had been around for a long time to manually chart, patient care. And so this is something I tell everyone who is in business. Be able to do everything manually if you got to. Obviously, fixing computers, I can't fix those. I mean, I can't do it manually, but I can do it without the internet if I had to. Doing my invoicing, I can do it manually and then catch it up later on. Again, a lot of the stuff I can do manually because when I took accounting courses in college, we were taught manual first, then computerized. Again, something I've learned through the years is kids going through accounting classes now, they learn on these accounting programs and have no idea how to do it manually. If you showed them green bar paper, not the computer print off, but green bar column accounting paper, would have no clue. In fact, I was kind of surprised. We was doing some straightening up and cleaning here in the office here a couple of weeks ago, and I found some 4-column green bar accounting journal paper. I was like, wow, I ain't seen that in 2 decades. So yeah, go back 50, 60, 70 years. This time of the year would be incredibly busy for anyone who is in business because you had to manually do your W-2s and your 1099. So yeah, computers have changed the world. They have changed things for the better. They might be a pain in the butt at times, but I couldn't imagine running a business without computers, or any of that. And I can't think of anyone today, in the past 30, 40 years who've been in business, who's not had a computer to do, their menial record keeping and spreadsheets, accounting, invoicing. Imagine doing it all by hand. All of it by hand. So yeah, let's take a moment to thank our computers and the people who've created them, and the people who maintain them when I'm asked to. They do make life easier. So, anyways, like I said, don't forget. You got to get those 1099s and W-2s out by, usually it's like the first week of February. Most of us smaller businesses can usually get them out the first week, because like I have to. Some of the other businesses don't even have any, or if they have it, it's just for vendors that have to report it. So, but yeah, good old days of having to do it by hand. I couldn't even imagine doing it by hand anymore. So, but yeah, the joys and wonders of having computers. They might be a pain in the butt, but they make life a lot easier. So if you found this useful, like, share, and subscribe. If you don't have a Google account, you can find us over on Facebook. There is a donation link down at the bottom. And you guys have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you later.